We're just gonna have to. Whatever is my hair is my hair. Alright. Hi. Whenever I do this, I get on the lookout because I'm afraid that people will catch me recording, and I'm so shy. Um, yeah, it's the week of April 6th, and it is still early spring in New England. It's 44 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm just at this little park in the middle of my walk because I wanted to stop and take a break to just chat about this week. I've been working on 2 oil paintings, and I think I'm close to finishing them. Hopefully I can finish them this week. But mostly what I want to talk about this week is I am setting up a little magazine or publication called the Le Paysagistepost. And if you've watched any of my videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. And part of that is also a collective of artists called paysage practices, which not in French means landscape practices, but to be a paysagiste in French is to be a landscape painter and also to be a landscape architect or designer. It's like the same term for both. And this has stuck with me since 2016. Has been an idea in my head because like just like one professor from school just like mentioned it off the cuff, and I was like, wait, that is so cool that like one term can mean 2 different professions, because in English like a landscape painter and landscape architect or like landscaper have like such different meanings. And since studying architecture, I've always been thinking about like there's a term called machine for living, which is kind of like partially the foundational theory for modern architecture. And I concentrated in nature culture and sustainability studies, and like all I can think about what's not the machine for living. So like what are living systems and or systems of living, and how does that include like more than the human experience? And so the term paysage or le paysagiste for me is expanded from those distinct trades to being anyone who's in relationship with scaping the land or like in relationship with living systems, because how we live shapes our environment, like whether we do it passively or uh, purposefully. How we live shapes our environment. So that's where my goal is to set up this collective of artists and designers and ecologists, because paysage practices as a collective or the paysagistepost will be focusing on art, ecology, and design. I can like it's crazy because it's like I haven't done it does not exist yet. I'm making it exist. The first publication will happen. It'll go out on the 24th of this month of April. So like I gotta get cracking. Um, and like I have so many plans. Uh, but it's like I need to set up the social uh, accounts for it. I need to set up websites, do all of this stuff, and like figure out a way for people to subscribe to the publication if they so want that. And like the other part is, yeah, the irony of me posting about this on YouTube, but there's a real need for physical media, for physical art, for just real objects that are made by humans. And it's so easy to feel like we're just stuck in this digital realm of AI slop. And we don't have to be. And at the same time, there are there are people coming. What's a doggy? I feel like there's also a need for artists who exist inside of the professional capital A art world to be able to connect with not the top 10% of the population and to have reproductions of their work be as proliferated as possible. Hmm. Okay, someone did walk by and I got scared, so I stopped talking. And I said hi to them. They're walking their dog and it's very cute. Yeah. So there's like a real need for professional artists, I feel like, to be able to have their work be more accessible. I've seen a couple artists that I follow talk about like thinking about this. And then at the same on like the other end of it, there's like the hustle culture of people making an Etsy shop, a Saatchi art account, um, or just like their own like Shopify website. And like I've been like wondering this past week, like, and I think it's really funny to have this question, but if Andy Warhol were alive, would he have his own Shopify account? His own Shopify website? And I feel like he would. You know, like he would have like I don't know, like he started Interview Magazine and was so into pop art and like selling it. And anyway, part of me is like, I'm going to do that. But at the intersection of art, ecology, and design related to sustainability and like critically reimagining our living systems for a more sustainable, potentially post capitalist world. We have no idea what that looks like. We have some idea. We have some idea. We have people who are thinking about it. And I want to collect those thoughts into this publication and make it accessible so that way more people can think about it. We don't have to just keep doom scrolling or living inside of what feels like just a negative world. Anyway, it's a beautiful day. As you can see, there's literally not a single cloud in the sky. And yeah, and I feel like I need to make a Substack. Like, I feel like all of these things, all these pressures, but at the same time, I'm just following like the energy of playfulness. And I know that like it's possible through that energy to create connection and make it work. Um, yeah, I'm recording this on Wednesday, so the day before I upload. I just have to say, yesterday, the world almost ended. My president almost, quote unquote, blew up an entire civilization. Like, there's so much ecocide and just general war crimes happening between Russia and Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, Iran, Lebanon, and just corporations, how they act and exist within the United States and outside of the United States. That I feel like there is a real urgent need for genuine, real physical media and connection and access to critical theory, but in a way that is just accessible and forward thinking. It doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be like you have to go to a liberal arts college in order to have access to these thoughts and ideas. Because there's like a level of criticality, cross reference that's important, while also remaining optimistic and accessible. And I feel like some aspects where there's like solar punk, but like the criticality of it and then real world implementation doesn't exist outside of social media, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. I would like to create a collective. Some, maybe in the future, ideally, possibly, most likely, will be like a brick and mortar residency and school and potential gallery or exhibition space, but still primarily deals with the distribution of artist reproductions, so that way people have access to good, like, critical artwork and how it's related to ecology and paysage and the living systems with which we all exist inside of. And yeah, that's just kind of like, I don't know, like today, yesterday, I have like a sparkle in my eye. It's happening. And I wanted to come here and say that. I posted about it on Threads and like got a good response. I reached out to some of my friends and got good responses. And it's like, there are a lot of people thinking about doing this. And I think there's a couple angles someone in my position to take, which is competitive. Oh, I have to make my magazine and publication, and it has to be better, or I have to do it before everyone else. And then the other angle is, what if we all were able to support artists? There were a lot of artists who had publications, and it was kind of like indie and like small to medium size, because there are a lot of artists who do print clubs. It's not super formal, it's usually through Patreon, but that's still a publication, and they're sharing their artwork with the people who want to support them, and those people get artwork that they get to put up in their places, and the more people get to see that artwork, and that's the whole point, is getting more people to see the artwork instead of like, you know, AI generated Etsy posters that are drop shipping, or I don't know, like a slogan from Walmart on a poster on an MDF frame. Not to be like yucking people's yum, but I think we can do better, in my opinion. And I'm gonna help people do that. I want to so badly. So, yeah. I think. Oh, the segments of the publication and the way that I'm gonna do like monthly videos for it on like a dedicated channel involve research, education, interviews, and highlights of like artwork that I have permission to repost. But this first publication might just be me, so we'll see. um, yeah, I need to go file for creating an S corp now. What else can I say? If you are interested in this, please follow along, because I'll be posting more updates about it, and where you can follow like what dedicated, you know what, by tomorrow when I post this, just look in the description. There will be the accounts for paysage practices and the paysagistepost that you can go and you can maybe pre-subscribe to like order the first edition if you really, you know, my seldom 18 followers that I currently have on this channel. Or just follow along so that way you can see the updates and decide later. But yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this channel more chill, because last week I kind of last week it was like I was in the trenches, because I've been stuck between like, how can I have my own artist practice and do this? And I was like kind of stuck doing it on one account. And so I want to keep this channel, which is mine, personal, more casual, check-ins, what's up in the studio, you know? And then the actual paysage practice channel will be maybe like every other week, and it'll be a more dedicated look into what the publication is offering for that month, and include segments related to talking about ecology, uh, identifying a certain plant that's like growing, or so on and so forth. as well as, I don't know, things that are important right now. Um, so yeah, definitely still in the creation stage. I'm so excited to start this, and I think there is a difference between having it all figured out, which is never true, never happens, scheming and planning and laboring over it for months, possibly years, and then finally posting it for the first time, versus that entire time that you've been scheming and planning and laboring over it, you could have been already doing monthly releases and just watch it grow throughout the entire process. And so this latter option is what I'm going to do. This first edition or publication will be for April 2026, and it'll just be a little card with a pamphlet that, you can open, and it'll be a pretty graphic design, have thoughtful writing, pretty images, pretty drawings, and maybe a postcard of one of the paintings that I finish. So let's try and do that. Let's try and finish a painting for this. Let's go. But yeah, that's it for this week. Please remember to like and subscribe. And yeah, no, seriously, if you're interested about any of this and you yourself are an artist who focuses or does work related to ecology, um, living systems, like if you think about climate change as much as I do and how we can address it, or how we could live in a post-capitalist society that doesn't ruthlessly extract everything, but somehow finds balance for like the billions of people who are here, then let's collaborate and work on this together, because we're in this together and we gotta support each other. So with that, I hope you have a good rest of your week. It's finally sunny. And I'm gonna go finish my walk. Bye.